525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments, oh dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter and strife. In 525,600 minutes, how do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? Measuring love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love.
Mary Potter was a woman of conviction, purpose, and vision. She overcame countless obstacles as she responded to the Holy Spirit in founding a religious congregation devoted to praying for the sick and dying, which became known as the Little Company of Mary's Sisters. Although Mary Potter never sent more than 2 or 3 pioneer sisters to begin a ministry, word quickly spread of the sisters' distinctive spirituality and compassionate care, first in England and then in other countries. As the Blue-Veiled Sisters became known, many local young women who admired their dedication and devotion joined the congregation. In one of her published works, Mary Potter described their unique vocation. By uniting themselves with Mary and by giving all into her hands, the sisters of this little company of Mary would bring the world a way of finding and loving Christ, a little way of simplicity and compassion. Where does the name Little Company of Mary come from?
Well, the Little Company of Mary, our foundress, she chose it because Mary, the mother of Jesus, stood beneath the cross, which was the deathbed of Christ. And so she envisioned that the sisters would, in essence, take the place of Mary at the bedside of her children. And so the first Little Company of Mary was St. John and Mary Magdalene, and they surrounded Our Lady at the deathbed of Christ.
Most of our hospitals have the name Little Company of Mary, so many people think that we are Little Company of Mary's Sisters. We took the name of the hospital. It's the contrary. The hospital took its name from us.
Can you tell me about who the sisters of Little Company of Mary are?
The Sisters of Little Company of Mary are a group of women who were founded to pray and care for the sick and dying. And we work throughout the whole world in different institutions and in different ministries. And today, the whole thrust is to bring that healing presence of Jesus to those that we serve.
What can you tell us about Mary Potter's legacy?
I believe that Mary Potter's legacy to all of us is that we have a power within us for doing good, and we are called to tap into that power as we minister to others in the Lord's name.
Well, Mary Potter wanted us primarily to be a compassionate presence to the sick and dying, but she also wanted us to adapt to the needs of the community we were serving. I think our scope now is broadening to realize that people die of physical illness, but they also die from loss of hope. I think we're called to be hope and to reflect the mercy and love of Jesus.
She was an ordinary woman, and yet she was extraordinary.
What's the one thing that you would like people in the community and also people who are just starting their careers here at Little Company Mary to know about Mary Potter?
I would love them to know that caring for the sick, the suffering, and the dying is probably one of the greatest privileges a person could have, to be able to hold the hand of somebody in pain or suffering, to be able to give them a cold drink, to be able to get a wheelchair for them, and to be able to see it more as a ministry than a career.
I would like them to know that she included them even in her plan for the Little Company of Mary. She's talked about the greater Company of Mary, and that she would have affection for them and what they could become.
Now, I understand that you have ministries all over the world.
We do.
Can you tell us about them?
Yes, we have ministries, as you mentioned, all over. We are in England, Scotland, Ireland, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, and we're in the United States and Italy. And we are also in Korea, that has one of the very first hospices in Korea, which is called the Mary Potter Hospice.
Can you tell us about Greater Company of Mary?
Greater Company of Mary are men and women who are part of our healthcare ministry. The doctors, the nurses, the volunteers, anyone who has been called to work in our ministry. And then we also have men and women who may not be working directly in our ministry, but feel the call to pray and care for the sick and dying.
What do you envision for the future here at Little Company?
I believe the future of our Little Company of Mary is to be that healing presence of the Lord to all those we serve, to continue to partner with those in our ministry so that we can continue to be a special spirit of life, compassion, and love to others. For we truly live in a broken world, and we hope through our presence we will be able to bring healing to that world.
In the words of Sister Carol Piccini, LCM, now serving on the congregational leadership team in London, Mary Potter's little way of simplicity and compassion continues today not only because of the sisters, but also because of the generosity of the men and women who believe in her vision and have accepted it as part of their lives. All of you are part of the Greater Company of Mary, which Mary Potter started in the early days when she realized that there was so much to do and that the sisters couldn't do it alone. We are blessed because you help make visible the healing power of Jesus in your daily living. Our ministry is richer because of you, and we thank you.
Celebrate, remember a year in the life of Christ. Remember love, love.